Hello, Stephen. This is Tim Bowles, the IT215. I thought it'd be easier to do a quick video rather than trying to explain all this in a posting. You've gotten your program to compile, and that's great. What you also need to do beyond just getting it to compile is you need to test it. And in your testing, you need to make sure you're meeting the requirements of this particular program. Okay? So if we go back here and we look at the instructions, you modify the payroll program so it continues to request employee information until the user enters stop as the employee name. In addition, the application to check the hourly rate and number of hours worked are positive numbers. If either hourly rate or the number of hours worked is not positive, the application should prompt the user to enter a positive number. So those are kind of loose requirements, but they're still very, you need to keep requesting employee information until the user enters the word stop as the employee name. So let's go back and see if your program does these things. So I will compile your program. The only change I've made so far is I removed the package name. So now I'll run it. So I'm running a program. It says enter the employee name. Okay, so we'll just do a base test. Enter everything correctly. Fred, hourly rate is 8. Enter our weekly hours is 9. Your pay this week is $72.0. Okay, well, if I remember correctly, it should have, from previous week, it should have the employee's name there printed out instead of saying your pay, and you need an extra decimal there. Instead of just 72.0, it should be 72.00. Now it says enter the word stopping to stop, enter the word stopping to stop. So you got that twice. Okay, it should only be printed once. Alright, so let's see what happens if I type in the next name, because I want to do multiple employees. So let's put Mike in here. Uh-oh, it says enter the word stopping to stop. Okay, let's try Kyle. Okay, so let's try stopping now. Well, there is a while loop in there. You have a while loop. It keeps on asking me to type in the word stopping, and it finally did stop when I typed in the word stopping. But you want it to go through the entire process again of asking for the hourly rate and the number of hours worked. So, looking at your program, you come down here and you see that your while, my string ignore equals ignore case stopping, is at the near the bottom of your program. And all it is doing is this asking you to enter the word stopping to stop. You want them to be able to continue to enter employee's name. And you want them to continue to enter hourly rates and weekly hours until they say stop. So this part needs to go somewhere else. So it needs to go before you start asking for the hourly rate, but after you've asked for the employee name, because you want them to be able to enter the employee name first. So put it in there. Alright. Now I'm going to do file, save, and I'm going to try it again. Employee name, okay, so let's do Java employee name. Into employee name, Fred, hourly rate is 9, our weekly hours is 10. Your pay this week is $90. Enter the word stopping to stop. Enter hourly rate. Uh-oh. So it seemed to skip me entering the person's name. So I want to go back here and figure this out. Well, I posted an announcements under the instructors announcements. And one thing I tried to warn you all about is using the next line reader, because there is a feature of it that basically when you enter a number beforehand, that it is waiting to read the entire string, and so it will basically skip you typing in the person's name. So my suggestion was to, instead of using next line, was just to use next. And what next does for you is it allows you to enter one word. So instead of entering first and last name, you'll just enter a last name, and it should work after you do that. But again, that was under a posting that I did under instructor announcements that you might want to go back and review. So let's see if changing it to just next fixed it. Enter the employee name, Jack, hourly rate, weekly hours. Okay, your pay this week is $12. Enter the word stopping to stop. So let's enter Mike. Enter hourly rate 3. Enter weekly hours 5. Okay, so that's parts working. So let's do, let's try negative numbers. Hourly rate -9. Uh-oh. It allowed me to enter a -9. Well, maybe you want me to go fix it once you enter the weekly hours. So I'll enter 10 weekly hours. Nope, it's saying my weekly paycheck is -90. Well, why is that not working? Well, let's see what happens if I put in a positive hourly rate and negative weekly hours. So let's put in a new name, Matt. Oh, rate has to be a positive number. Re-enter hourly rate. That's interesting. Now it's asking me to re-enter hourly rate after I restarted everything. Huh. And now it's asking for it again. Well, that's strange. Weekly hours, -30. Rate has to be positive number. 30. Wow. You know, I'm not exactly sure. It looks like that you have some issues with your loop statements, because the loop didn't come back asking me to do a positive rate until it looped through it again. So let's look at your rate loop. Oh, wait. You got a while. And now before you even ask for somebody to enter hourly rate, you have a while loop. Well, then this loop is in the wrong place. It should come after you've asked somebody to enter in the hourly rate. So this needs to move to after the hourly rate is entered. Okay. Now, if you look back here, you enter the hourly rate, and then we enter the weekly hours. It did right. Enter your weekly hours 10, every 90. Rate has to be a positive number. Re-enter hourly rate. Okay, I entered it 10, and then ask for it again. So why is it asking for it twice? Well, if I look here in your while loop for the hourly rate, you accept the hourly rate here. You say, okay, hourly rate, I'm going to read in the next double. But then for some reason, you're reading the next line. So you all you need is the hourly rate here, and then you want to check the hourly rate. So you don't need this read next line. So let's take that out of there. Alright, now let's see if it works. File, save, compile it again. Run it again. Mike, enter hourly rate, -10. Rate has to be a positive number. Re-enter hourly rate. Let's make sure the loop is working. -20. Rate has to be positive. Re-enter the hourly rate. Okay, 30. Enter weekly hours. -40. Rate. Oh, it says rate has to be positive number. Probably want to change that message to hours. So let's put in positive hours. 40. Oh, it's asking for something again. 40, your pay this week is 1200. So I actually had to enter in something extra again. Huh, very strange. So the first while loop worked correctly. This one worked correctly for hourly rate. So I basically need that, but instead for hourly rate, I need it for the weekly hours. Then I noticed down here that this one has some extra lines in it. I have weekly hours equal reader next double. Then I read it again, and then I read something else. You only need one of those. So I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to get at. Not only does your program need to compile, it needs to meet the requirements of the assignment. And in this case, your loops are not working appropriately, and I am having to enter in numbers too often. You need to fix your while loops. You need to make sure when you're running it that you try different combinations and make sure that it addresses everything it should. I shouldn't have to enter in numbers twice. When I enter them right, down here I had to enter the rate of positive, then it asked me to enter in something again. So you need to fix these things to make sure it is meeting the requirements, that you have all your words spelled right. Here's welcome without an E. You asked for a rate here, but you also asked for a rate down here. This should have been weekly hours. Okay? I hope this gets you on the right path.